But if you're trying to come up with something like original, one thing that people will do is they'll kind of remix ideas from other content. So like, let's say, for example, you have a crafting channel, but you're watching tech channels, right? If you see a title and you think to yourself, hey, I wonder if I could actually kind of spin that in some way, or this topic on this tech channel, could I spin this in some way to make it relevant to like a crafting audience? In that particular case, you might be able to, come up with some original stuff for your niche by, doing that remixing. But some other things that you can do is one, is any blogs in your industry, you can go and look at those blogs and just look for any articles that they've written and look for inspiration there. You can do keyword research. And with keyword research, you're not necessarily thinking to yourself like, hey, I'm trying to rank this video in YouTube search, but instead you're thinking to yourself, okay, let me see the general interest around these topics, right? So you can use TubeBuddy for this. You can use the YouTube autocomplete, which is completely free, where you just go to YouTube's homepage and you start typing in things around the type of content you make, and you're going to see questions that people look for. That's super helpful, because then it can just give you a lead on things like, hey, do people have videos on these things, and is there a lot of them? So you can just go and kind of get your ideas that way. YouTube has the inspiration tab, which is also kind of like they're remixing, in some way. But with that, they tell you like, hey, there's kind of holes or content gaps, they call them. But there's content gaps, around these particular topics. The recommendations in the inspiration tab aren't amazing, but, it's a good place to look if you don't, if you can't come up with any ideas. In addition to that, hopping into Google Trends. So when it comes to Google Trends, super helpful, especially if you're trying to stay on top of, things that are happening in your niche. So if you're, talking about things that are just widely popular,